ICICI TV18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.
Welcome back. Well, for the equity markets, it's definitely the private banks which are holding up the gains that we're at least seeing for the Nifty, or the resilience that we're seeing for the Nifty. So say something like a Yes Bank is up around 3.7%, and there is ICICI Bank which is bouncing back quite smartly, up around 2.7% as well. And from the oil and gas space, GAIL deserves mention. There was a Nomura report on GAIL as well, where they are convinced of GAIL and have a target price of around 400 rupees on that stock. So that stock holding up with a gain of around 4% as well. But let's talk about the rupee. The rupee has recovered marginally in trade today. This is as the equities have stabilized as well. So Koon Goh of ANZ Research and Anant Narayan of Stancy join in to discuss the currency moves and the way forward. Afternoon, gentlemen. Anant, I'm going to start with you. We're seeing the rupee now test 67 quite closely. Once we break 67, what's the way forward? What are the levels that we should be looking for?
Afternoon, Ekta. I think the moves in rupee, frankly, will mirror what happens globally. One thing that we have to remember is that unlike 2013, when rupee was on a breathtaking fall and sort of falling every day, the move here and the situation here is very, very different. The fundamentals are very, very different. And to a large extent, what we are seeing happening over the last 1 month or so is essentially tracking what's happening globally in terms of volatility, in terms of currency moves in China and Malaysia, etc. I think that trend will continue. Essentially, we will continue to be impacted by what happens globally. The ability of the RBI with its reserves to actually manage volatility is extremely high. If it's a secular rupee move as opposed to a global move, you'll probably see them coming in and holding back on volatility. If, on the other hand, we see a relapse of the currency moves that we saw a couple of weeks ago, I think the RBI will be fine to let it depreciate in line with the other global markets. And therefore, a move about 67 in that context is quite possible. There are, of course, a couple of vulnerabilities also in the Indian market, which will put pressure on the RBI and test them out, including FII outflows and the fact that we have unhedged foreign currency exposures.
Okay, Anant, morning. So clearly, an optimist would say that we are still better off than a lot of other emerging market currencies. But in terms of the move from here, do you think there's a real risk of not only crossing the previous lows, but heading towards maybe even 70 or thereabouts?
Anuj, absolutely, not just an optimist. I think even a realist will easily accept that the rupee situation is far better than it was in 2013, which is an unfortunate point of reference for us. Current account deficit is barely 1% now. It was 5% then. The oil prices are half of what they were earlier. FX reserves are at all-time highs, close to all-time highs. So clearly, and we're not seeing the kind of outflows that we saw in 2013. So all in all, there are a few good spots for us. Oil being where it is a very, very strong positive for the country as a whole. We are still seen as a beacon of hope. There are green shoots in terms of recovery, tax collections, IIP numbers, etc., which indicate that this is a place to invest compared to the rest of the world. And we are a commodity consumer as opposed to countries like Malaysia, which are commodity exporters. So all in all, yes, absolutely, we are in a sweet spot. Having said that, we are not without our vulnerabilities. And, it would be kind of probably premature to brush them aside. One is there are definite FI outflows that we've seen in the last month or so from the equity markets. Some of it could be global redemptions, and some of it could also be our own vulnerabilities. We have stressed balance sheets in corporates and in banks, and maybe there's a bit of tinge of concern around the whole thing. And the second concern, as I mentioned, is the fact that over the past 18 months or so, we have built substantial unhedged foreign currency exposures. So you do have importers and people who've taken uncovered ECBs who are nervous, and they will be buying dollars on every dip. So I think you cannot set these aside. These are issues that we have to deal with. Having said that, the ability of the RBI to manage this position is extremely high. Let's not forget that all the unhedged positions have accrued to the RBI's FX reserves. So, their ability to stem this is quite high.
Okay. Koon, what is your view on the rupee? We are resilient if you compare us to the Indonesian rupiah, which is at a 17-year low. and the Korean won, which is at the lowest since 2011 as well. Do you expect the rupee resilience to continue, or do you expect further pressure? And if so, what is the range that you might be looking for as well?
I think the rupee should continue to fare much better than the other Asian currencies. But against the US dollar, I think we have to be realistic that we're in an environment where the US economic recovery continues to gather pace, and the Fed at some point will be hiking interest rates. Now, whether it's going to happen next week or later on in the year remains to be seen, but the Fed is certainly preparing to tighten policy, which will be very, very supportive for the US dollar. So in that kind of backdrop, I think the rupee cannot stay immune to that. But against the other Asian currencies, the rupee certainly has many standouts, as the previous speaker has mentioned. So I do expect the rupee to outperform. But against the US dollar, I think it can very likely weaken towards the 67 mark. Sure. But we shouldn't be too concerned about that because, relative to a lot of the other currencies and even from a really effective exchange rate basis, I think that still shows that the rupee is continuing to outperform.
Okay. By the way, the market is now at the high point of the day, so there's been quite a bit of recovery. The Nifty is making a move back towards 7,600. The move has been led by Bank Nifty, but other stocks are contributing. And one reason for this could be the way Chinese market has again recovered in late trade. In fact, Chinese market is now in the green territory, so that's helped our market as well. And maybe some positive feedback from that meeting as well that the Prime Minister is having. So quite a bit of volatility, but intraday recovery. That's the Chinese market now comfortably in the green. It was down 2.5% when we started the show, and now up about 0.25%. Anant, the fixed income market has been quite stable. Absolutely no sign of any problem here. Do you expect that to continue?
I wouldn't call it very stable. I would call it very nervously stable, Anuj. Look, I think the billion-dollar question is what happens as far as Indian monetary policy is concerned. We have clarity that eventually the Fed will hike rates, but there is still a bit of back and forth on what the likely scenario here is. There are concerns which might cause the RBI to pause in its rate-cutting cycle. One is, of course, the US Fed rate hike, which is imminent. Second is this global market volatility, which is typically not a good time for people to cut rates. And third, questions about monsoon and food price inflation, which has been the center stage for the RBI. Having said that, if I look at the stressed nature of bank and corporate balance sheets, if I look at the low credit offtake, the low capacity utilizations, and the fact that the rupee is still overvalued by RER terms, I think there's a very, very strong case to continue with rate cuts. Having said that, the people who decide this are the RBI, so one has to watch very carefully to see what they do. In the interim, there is confusion about whether that will happen or not. There is a bit of an issue on supply demand as well, because remember that the FI limits for government debt is closed, which means that there is a surfeit of supply as opposed to demand domestically. And if we do get clarity on the RBI front, if we do get blessed with a couple of rate cuts, that can be the next big move for the fixed income market and for the economy as a whole.
Okay, Anand, and one key factor for the RBI's decision is going to be the CPI data out on the 14th of September. So your estimate, or Stancy's estimate?
The first cut estimate is at about 3.4%. There's a huge base effect which will kick in and help bring down the numbers despite what you see on oil, onion prices, etc. Overall, I think we are still comfortable that even the Jan to March CPI number will be well below the 6% that the RBI has been forecasting. Given where oil prices and commodity prices globally are, and the fact that food inflation seems to be under control, we still think 5 to 5.5% is much more likely, and therefore there is ample room for rate cuts. So we still are in the rate cut camp. Having said that, clearly the last decision is the RBI's.
Okay. All right, Anant and Koon, thank you very much for joining in and talking to us. So that's the view coming in on the rupee as well as the macro indicators. Time for a break now, but full tilt back to the markets. FNOQ is lined up with T.S. Hariyar of HRBV